Welcome to the Gaming's Greatest Generation podcast, where we discuss news, reviews, and all things video games with your hosts, the OG Leo Holly, the overachiever Mark Lombardi, and Mr. Contradiction himself, Matt Harms. Stay tuned for ways to connect with the G3 community, contribute to the show, or tell us about your greatest gaming experiences. Now, let's get to the show.
Welcome back, gamers. It's G3 Podcast again, ready to take the controls like your best co-op friend. It's a whole new month. We've got whole new rhymes. We've got brand new games, so we'll have a real good time. You got Snipe 90, known as Ice, on the ones and the twos, dishing out the facts about news you can use. But before we get cracking and start talking about game, let's take just a moment to mention something seemingly insane. Imagine you're chilling, playing games just for fun, when artillery rains down, smoke blacks out the sun. You see a great flash and try to catch your breath. Your light flashes before you. You think, maybe I've seen death. But this isn't Call of Duty. It's not Battlefield. It's some a-hole from Russia using whatever power he can wield. Here at G3, we're about love and about peace. We're about playing games. We're about squashing beefs. We feel for Ukraine. War is not some kind of toy. So to Vladimir Putin, we say, Poshil nehoy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the G3 Podcast, episode 29, starting with the rhyme. Yours truly, known as Ice, on all things gaming and social media, here to have a good time. And I'm going to toss the mic over to my man, Snipe 90, who's going to keep it nice and tight and not be so whiny.
Couldn't say it better myself.
What's good, brother? What's going on?
Oh, yeah, here to spread the love, not the hate.
Hell yeah. All about
Let's
love.
Appreciate the games.
On a real note, we wanted to do this last week, but, we do send our condolences and our heartfelt regards to everybody that is undergoing trials and tribulations of the worst magnitude over in Ukraine right now. And starting right off, our first segment, going into the news, guess what it's about, folks? It's about what's going on in Ukraine. So first and foremost, some news came out last week around the time that we did the episode, and Ukraine's, make sure I get his position correct, I believe it is the Prime Minister of Ukraine, went ahead, Mikhailo Fedorov, so it should be Ukraine's Prime Minister, went ahead and sent a message to all of the gaming sphere and basically said, hey, please draw your support away from Russia. Take your products and your services out of the Russian markets and help us out. Later on March 2nd, he more poignantly directed a tweet at Xbox and PlayStation, asking them for that. And then on March 3rd, he expanded it even further to Epic Games, Nintendo, Rockstar Games, 2K, Moonton Games, Bandai Namco, like the whole nine. And now... So that news, we're getting that out of GameSpot. And a follow-up to that was that, yes, a number of those companies, including Microsoft proper, have gone ahead and pulled a lot of their support and services out of the Russian markets. Another report here out of GameStop coming out around the same time, if not a little bit before. We've got 11-Bit Studio, GSC World, CD Projekt Red and GOG, Bungie. There's a bunch of other developers out there that have gone ahead and either pulled support or are collecting money, whether it be through streaming or through some type of game charities or whatnot. And their donations are either 100% or in large portion going to support Ukraine, Ukrainian Red Cross, the Ukrainian Armed Forces, other entities over there that are, basically on the defense. And then we also have out of CNET, news that major corporations across the world, including Apple, Microsoft, Google, Samsung, Snapchat, Airbnb, Disney, Sony, Warner Brothers, Paramount, Universal, Nintendo, Electronic Arts, Intel, Netflix, BMW, Ford, GM, and Honda have all gone ahead and either scaled back operations, cut operations altogether. I think there was something else like IKEA actually went ahead and basically shut down all their markets and or production over there. So everything going on in Ukraine is a big deal right now in Russia. And when you think about how large of a segment that is, I think it says something that a lot of these companies are going ahead and taking a stand. I mean, hell, Switzerland, the neutral country, they've been neutral for pretty much all of time, went ahead and they actually took a stance and condemned what's going on in Russia. So Mark, anything you got to say about this news, about Russia, about everything that's kind of going wild over there on the Eastern Europe front?
Yeah, I just think it's nice to see all these big companies help where they can. It's nice of Xbox to get their donation. Said they 100% of their donations for 48 hours or something. They said for what was the game thing they had going on? Anyway, but yeah, it's it's nice to see other companies, countries, whatever they be, help out where they can. Just recently, I read something on one of my mutual friends is they booked an Airbnb in Ukraine, and then they just messaged the person and was like, hey, just to let you know, obviously I'm not going to be there, but keep the money. So like, it's nice to see people help them where they can.
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. All right, so that's out with the bad. Again, we're going to keep Ukraine in our hearts, kind of deal. But we got other gaming, hopefully more levity to talk about, and hopefully maybe that makes its way to some of the Ukrainian people and all the people around the world that are down against war and conflict. So the first news, this one coming out of The Verge. Microsoft's Xbox app now lets you install the PC games to whatever folder you want. So I was a little surprised when this news came out because for me, I'm in a couple of insider builds both on Xbox and on the not only Windows 11 but Windows Store and Xbox app on PC. So I've been doing this for quite some time, but it's a big deal for people that maybe aren't into those insider builds or don't want to take the risk because there are bugs and stuff associated with that. But it's a relatively big deal that you get to actually have some control and install your games where you want. Mark, I know you said something offline earlier this week to the crew about this is a good move for you and your PC rig, right?
It is, yeah. For me, I got, as many of our viewers, listeners may, multiple drives for, these games go on this drive, this games go on these drives for, storage purposes or runnability, stuff like that. So it's nice to have that power in your hand. You can just say, hey, this is a bigger title. This is something I'm going to play more. So let's put that on my M.2 SSD instead of my HDD. So it's definitely nice to see more adaptability come to the handhelds. When you're away on business or, that you got to get that download in while you're, on your way from work or something and you want it to be there when you get home. So it's nice to see that they're, integrating this more functionality for the end consumer.
Yeah, definitely, and hopefully, as far as I'm tracking, they haven't got around to it yet. But the direct storage capability, so you can run the stuff directly off of the GPU RAM combination. We're not there yet, but I'll definitely be interested to see kind of how that comes about because that's supposed to be the thing that really kind of sets the threshold, right? Almost in the sense of having like quick resume from Xbox on the PC, so it just kind of auto boots from where it was last. So we'll see whenever that comes about. But speaking of boot times or lack thereof, Amazon's Luna service now has cloud gaming free available to all Prime members. So free asterisks, if you pay for the Prime subscription. But it's pretty interesting. I haven't got to try this yet. I actually will be trying it as long as it doesn't require me to have the specific Luna controller. But yeah, I mean, I'm a Prime member, and they seem to have a couple titles on there that are worth looking at. I mean, right now, Devil May Cry 5. They got Observer, so that one's been out for a bit. They got Rad, they got Kingdom Come Deliverance. You got a couple old school hits in there like Contra Collection and the Capcom Arcade Stadium. The Jackbox Party Pack games, Matt's favorite,
Oh yeah.
weekend party thing. You also got some Yakuza games. You got some heavy hitters too in there, like Control. You got Grid. What else am I looking at here? I mean, yeah,
Valhalla.
they got Valhalla's in there too. You got some pretty good stuff in there. Some pretty good stuff. So it definitely will be something worth trying out. And again, like if you're already paying into it, it's already available to you. I guess you do. They have a couple different things in here. So they got Family Channel, Retro Channel. a bunch of different stuff. So, Mark, just checking this out. Like, what do you think? Is this something that may eventually, while it's only streaming, do you think it's something that may provide some competition for, let's say, like the Game Passes or the um, what we're rumored to be having, well, what we have now in PlayStation Now, or what we may have in the future with Project Spartacus?
Yeah, well, as you know, everything's going to streaming, so you got to get those subscriptions while you can. I did read that if you don't need a Prime membership. It's actually the most expensive portion. I mean, if you already have it, might as well take advantage of where you can. But they have like different packages for like whatever games you want to play. So like they have like a retro thing. It's like $5 a month, and then they have like the Luna Plus, which is like X amount of titles for $6 a month. So they're giving you some, you know, choices, I should say. Not set like, here's $20 a month and you get this. You have the ranges where you want to be at. So at least that's decent enough of them. Give
Okay,
you
yeah,
that
crazy. Yeah, I wasn't
choice.
tracking that. Yeah, I wasn't tracking
Yep.
that it had different tiers. I mean, that being said, it's not necessarily like it's the pie in the sky plan either, right? Because as I'm looking at it, how we said Valhalla, and it's Valhalla Ultimate Edition. However, you have to have a subscription to Ubisoft Plus, their subscription streaming service, in order to use it on here. So, I mean, I'm sure Luna has a couple deals in there where you get to take advantage and play, some games. I don't know how new you get in those titles. If I try here, of course it's like not going to reload for me.
Yeah.
If I go ahead and I pull up Control, um yeah, see, that's what, there is different tiers, most definitely, because it says play with Luna Plus.
I'm,
So definitely, like you mentioned, there's going to be a tiered service going on
yeah. I'm
here.
curious to see. I just read on the page here. It says continue your game with cross save and progression. So I wonder if you know cross platform save cloud service somehow. But I gotta read more into that.
Yeah, I'm going to imagine that depends on the game, right?
Yeah, maybe some
um
Ubisoft. I would say more towards the Ubisoft stuff. I would think, but
Yeah, and I mean, there, we'll see how it pans out, right? This thing just kind of launched, available to everybody, if you will. They also have a tab here that says Luna Couch. I'm not going to watch the video right now. I probably should have done that offline before we started recording. But it says with Luna Couch, you can play local co-op games with your friends, even if they aren't subscribed to Luna. So this almost sounds like the friend pass type deal, right? You go ahead
yeah,
and you can play with, you know, we can play with each other. We can play with Matt. We can play with any of our friends who maybe don't have a Amazon subscription. But anyway, so we'll keep an eye on what's going to go on with Amazon's Luna service and see if it's actually going to hang on. That being said, it does have some integration with Twitch. Excuse me there. It does have some integration with Twitch, so that's something to look out for too. Twitch is kind of the monster in the room. Um, and as I mentioned its name, I wish I would have gone ahead and found the article, but there was mention that Twitch early this year had a lot of senior level execs kind of leave the company because there's maybe some discourse going on within the enterprise where there's a lot of desired monetization efforts that are going on, whereas folks that are true gamers that are within the decision matrix of Twitch are saying, no, it's not about monetizing everything. It's about spreading the word of games. And it sounds like more along the lines of what I've even said in previous episodes: make good games, or in this case, form good communities centered around games, and that will sell itself. You don't need to go ahead and try to add extra monetization like we talked about in previous episodes, where they tried to entice going ahead and stream it for 40 hours. Was it 40 hours a month? It
full
was, right?
time job.
Yeah, basically like a full-time job spread out throughout the month. But yeah, so anyways, you know what I do want to end up using full-time is Turtle Beach's new wireless headset. So Turtle Beach went ahead and we're getting this out of the Verge as well. Turtle Beach went ahead and announced, and I'm sure it's on their site as I think about it, the Stealth 600 Gen 2 Max. So, hey, G3, why are you guys talking about, basically accessories? You guys don't normally do that. Well, the only reason we really wanted to talk about this one is it's unique in the fact that if you ever tried to go ahead and if you're a multi-platform owner and you ever tried to get a headset that just kind of works universally among everything, it's a pain in the ass, like flat out. Either the stuff is going to be catered to work with just the Xbox, just the PlayStation, just the PC. Maybe you can get the combo Xbox PC or PlayStation PC switches somewhere in there. So very seldom do you get a piece of hardware that's able to work among all of them. And in this case, Turtle Beach's new Stealth 600 Gen 2 Max, which is going to be coming out. When did they say that's coming out? Starting April 3rd,
late.
or excuse me, pre-orders start. Yeah, and release is going to be in May. But yeah, this is a $130 headset, $129.99, and I know for me, it's awesome. I'm sitting here rocking the Lucid Sounds. I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties, which is why I'm constantly wearing it wired. But that's more so on me and something to kind of sort out with troubleshooting. But I've had Turtle Beaches in the past, and I think they're great. Mark, I think you've had some Turtle Beaches before too, right?
I had the Stealth 400, I think it was, and then I upgraded to the Microsoft Ordeal here, which I love. No complaints whatsoever. I haven't found one, and I've had it for over a year now, I think. And I got it hooks up to my phone, hooks up to my PC, Xbox. You just hit the little button, done. So I love this thing. It was cheap. I think it was like $100. But yeah, I'm curious. I'm always open to new, exciting new things. So maybe I'll, pick this up as a second. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm the same way. I love these. When I wasn't having the technical difficulties, could kind of bounce between Bluetooth on the phone and the dongle on the PC, which also worked for Xbox. Right now, I've got it kind of wonky setup downstairs where I go wired for the Xbox, but then on my JBLs, but then I have the dongle connected to the PS5. So it's like if I want to play PS5 stuff, I'm just going to turn on that wireless switch, and that way the JBLs can take advantage of the 3D audio on the PS5. But then otherwise, I just hook it up to the controller on Xbox. Anyways, enough about headsets. The bottom line is it's freaking cool because it works among all the different platforms. So if you're a multi-plat owner, the Turtle Beach Stealth 600 Gen 2 Max is probably something you want to keep an eye on. Something else that we apparently need to keep an eye on is Netflix, because these bad boys, they're moving slow, but they're coming up in the game. So Netflix went ahead and announced plans to acquire Stranger Things puzzle games studio Next. So they're trying to acquire them for $72 million. So Next Games, it drives me crazy trying to. Every time I try to like prep for the show and I say their name, it like throws me off because it's like you think there's other words there, but the studio name is Next Games. So anyways, they are predominantly a mobile developer. They put out some stuff in the past, like the Stranger Things Puzzle Tales. So this is the second company or second developer that Netflix has acquired after Oxenfree's developer Night School Studio. Night School Studio also made After Party. So Netflix has two no crap developers under their banner now, and they're going to eventually push out to have more content, more interactive content available via the platform. Mark, are we worried at all about Netflix and and them gaining a little more traction in the game space?
They're moving in the shadows. You got to keep an eye on them.
Yeah, they're like, don't look at us, don't look at us. Look at Microsoft
yeah.
over here with this 60
Right,
billion dollar acquisition. We're over here with our measly couple million. But
we could see big things coming from them this year.
We'll
see
see
what
right?
else they acquire, I should say.
Yeah, they got the budget for it. Speaking of acquisition,
they just upped their price too.
Which one? Netflix? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Netflix.
again.
The subscription price. Yep, it's gonna
Yeah.
keep happening, man. It's gonna keep going up. That's just the inevitability between inflation and everything else, right? And we're just along for the ride. So
Hmm.
watch your wallets, folks. Be cautious how many subscription services you have. This one out of Market Watch, Fortnite maker Epic Games has gone ahead and made an acquisition that probably not too many people are familiar with. So the company Bandcamp, they go ahead and they are a developer. They're an online music shop. I've actually used this very, very briefly before when doing some of my own music. Um, so Bandcamp is one of those. They have apps, but they also have a browser where you can set up your own little instrument studio, if you will, and start to make some music, record it, and potentially turn around and monetize it. So it's a pretty lengthy article that they've got here on Market Watch, but the gist of it is Epic, and you know everything that Epic is about. Essentially, going ahead and having a bunch of games as a service games lately, like Fortnite and Rocket League, going ahead and being some of the heaviest hitters that they've got. Now have gone ahead and acquired Bandcamp, and so the idea here is potentially to create yet another challenge to the status quo that is the online marketplace, particularly with an eye on Apple and their guarded, uh, walled garden ecosystem over there, if you will. So we'll see what kind of happens coming out here. But mind you, everything is mixed in with everything, right? So Epic acquires Bandcamp, but Epic also has a large amount of holdings by Tencent Holdings. So it's kind of interesting as we get into it, and it'll be interesting even further to see what, if anything, Epic Games changes about uh, profit sharing or how much that they expect to be taken out of iOS and Android later on as we see them merge that more into the phone market or place their business mantras into the Bandcamp model already in the existing phone market. So, is this anything you were tracking or even care about, Mark? Because quite frankly, again, Bandcamp is not something a lot of people know about.
Well, yeah, I got this one story about Bandcamp actually. It's like no, no.
That one time at Bandcamp,
Being an Apple user, you know, I'm not prejudiced about all the other companies out there trying to do better, but it's I mean, I'm a fan of Epic Games. I'm a fan of music, so I'm all for them trying to bring light to more music doers, I should say, or creators, and bring them to light and share their content. So I'm all for
yeah,
it.
yeah, I think it'll be really interesting too because when you think about this could have some different impacts over the long term, right? Because we got in Fortnite, you've had the Hangouts where you got a lot of different music artists that go in there and basically have like live concerts in Fortnite.
Hmm.
And then on the flip side of things, we've had games like music style games before, whether it be something like Beat Saber or mix or what's the what's the new DJ one that came out not long ago? Oh man, I can't think of the name right now. But nonetheless, I mean, even Guitar Hero and stuff like that in the
Just Dance
past, right?
games and stuff. Yeah.
Just Dance games, whatever. So it kind of brings to mind how large a scope is Epic going on this? Because if they really want to pump some money behind this thing, they could turn around and have a developer that could create something like the next Guitar Hero or something. Because these guys already have the instrument and the audio processing power to go ahead and create some really unique stuff. So we'll keep an eye and we'll see what happens coming out of the future with this Epic acquisition of Bandcamp. But something else that you may want to acquire is the time to go ahead and work on some of these mission and rewards on the Nintendo Switch Online. So those segues, baby, you got to keep them. You got to keep them loose. Got to keep them
Gotta
chucking and
reel you
jiving.
back in with that stuff.
Hey, let's go. Let's go. So nobody's gonna reel me in though. Or that actually, they are. Nintendo is kind of reeling me in with this, Mark, because the
Yeah.
news out of their site proper talks about now on the Nintendo Switch Online, they've added missions and rewards, and so the missions consist of like very similar if you're used to like the Epic Game Pass quest or something like that. Go ahead and play one game per week. What's this other one? Play Super Mario Brothers. So it's like stuff that they want you doing on Nintendo Switch Online, but it earns you platinum points. So if you're familiar, you got the gold points that you can redeem for actual monetary value when you try and purchase either a digital game or something to that effect. And then the platinum points are used for other things, and particularly the big thing that they're highlighting in this article is talking about basically avatars. So your avatar that is demonstrated, um, as part of your profile and everything. So I looked at this and I was like, okay, like especially, and maybe this is me, but coming from when they first went ahead and unveiled Nintendo Switch Online and the big deal that they had that summer. And so I had a misspeak actually. I wanted to correct myself because I previously said, oh, the Switch coming out. I want to say it was March of 18. It was actually March of 2017. Yours truly got it a year later in March of 18. So that was on me. I misspoke on that one. But when Nintendo Switch Online came out, something that I found really profound. I was on board with it under the special offers section. If you're familiar with the menu layout, they actually had a special where you pay $100 and you would end up getting 2 tickets, and the tickets could then be used as vouchers. Or I think it was, you got 2 vouchers, not tickets, but then you could use them towards the purchase of Nintendo games. So here, Nintendo games that would normally be $60 price point, you were effectively getting $10 off. And I'm a little surprised that I haven't seen that deal come back since. So Nintendo, coming out the woodwork here. We just talked about it not long ago that they revamped the store, so now they got physical product along with the digital. Now they're adding missions and rewards. Mark, Nintendo man, Mark, what is your take on all of this?
Well, they're moving in the right direction. It's not exactly what I want, but it's nice that I can actually use my thousands of platinum points that have been sitting in a little bucket for months on, something at least, instead of like wallpapers and postcards or whatever they used to try and sell you. But yeah, the gold points is exactly what you said, what people want. Get your monies. I use mine on pre-orders. You get 300 points for pre-order, and then it's another $3 off on your next purchase, and I kind of just re-roll that. As far as platinum points, yeah, it's neat little thing. Get your new avatars or um, maybe it says physical items. I'm curious to see exactly what that is. I'm hoping it's not a piece of cardboard or something. Give back to people a little bit. But yeah, they're like I said, they're moving in the right direction, trying to reel people back in. I guess trying to get them to play this game and get these points sort of deal. Just like you said with the whole Game Pass thing, trying to reel people into the services. So we'll see.
What I would personally, so I'll start with what my predictions and or hopes are with this, because like you said, this is not exactly what we want to see, but I mean for me, I would definitely like to see, yeah, if you can use the platinum points on something. I want to see what they're gonna make available for physical stuff, right? Like I got some shelf space. I got somewhere, I forget where it is. Somewhere back here, I've got Nintendo signage and stuff. So I
Yeah,
want to go ahead and probably maybe get some plushies or something. Like I might start getting on board with that.
yeah. I got
Um,
well, like this is like a pixelated Luigi I got from my Nintendo back in the day. I got this beautiful Link's Wind Waker ordeal
that is
here.
nice.
So they, I mean, they had stuff in the past, but it's all gone now. So like maybe they're revamping it. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, that would be nice. The other thing I would like to see is if they went ahead and gave. I mean, now it kind of does and doesn't make sense because they give you free demos, right? So I'm about to
Yeah,
download. I think they have the demo uh, for Kirby. Yeah, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. There's demo
a couple
available
weeks,
literally as of what, yesterday? So
fairly
yeah, I'm
brief.
gonna
Yes.
yeah. So that I've heard mixed bag on that. But I was gonna say it'd be really great if like, hey, as new games are getting ready to come out, you can redeem platinum points for like extended plays or something like that. Because that's no skin off my back. But we'll see. We'll
It,
see what happens with
it'd
Nintendo.
be nice to like. Obviously, the gold points are for money, but like if they can do like 1,000 platinum points for like $10 off or something. You know what I mean? Like, make it like the people that have them a lot of points like worthwhile. And I guess I don't know. Just like the Microsoft, like the Edge rewards, like the Microsoft points. Like, what is it, 10,000 for Game Pass or something? What is it?
So if you're talking about the Microsoft rewards, if people use that, mind you, there's a lot of redemption opportunity, but like the one I usually use is 30. I want to say it's 36,000 points, and you can redeem that for 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah.
So something that's normally what would that be, $45? You're going ahead and essentially getting it for time,
Yeah.
because in my case, like you mentioned, using the Edge browser and doing searches, but that's a daily undertaking, so you got to
Mhm.
carve out a little bit of time. It's not
Well, the
too
reward
much.
for the time, like if
Yeah,
you're stockpiling these points, I mean, you should be
yeah.
able to get something for, you know.
You'd be like Chuck E. Cheese, take my
Yeah.
tickets. Give me that one rubber band you got sitting up there. This isn't a ripoff at all. But you know what may or may not be a ripoff is yet to be seen is what comes out of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So the two new titles were just announced by Nintendo a little earlier, just the end of last month. Again, like kind of right after we recorded the episode last week. But this is going to be essentially a follow up, and feels pretty reminiscent of Sword and Shield. But Game Freak, the developers of Pokemon, by the way, this also comes out of The Verge. Apparently, The Verge was in my newsfeed pretty heavy this week. So Pokemon Sword and Shield look, or excuse me, not Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet. They look like a new take, but at the same token, they look like kind of a cross pollination of Sword and Shield and Arceus, Pokemon Legends Arceus. So, Mark, you played some Arceus. You gave a little bit of feedback previously. And here we even asked that question before, like, hey, are we getting nervous that Nintendo is drinking the Kool-Aid on the whole open world format? With these two Pokemon titles, do you think, this is ringing that alarm bell even more since they look so similar with the open world aspect?
Yeah, it's a mix with the like you said, the older. I don't think it was. I think it might have been Diamond and Pearl with like the new age open world stuff. But
Yeah, Diamond and Pearl were the remakes. Although they said
yeah,
there weren't really a lot of improvements with mechanics or anything like that.
yeah, but yeah, it seems like they're sticking with the open world stuff. I feel like it's a little soon since they just came out with the Arceus one, but got to keep them fresh, got to keep people on their toes, keep them involved. But knowing me, I'll gonna get it. So add it to my collection of Pokemon games for over the 25 plus years now. So yep,
You heard it, folks. First impressions of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet right here on G3 Podcast.
yeah.
Cool. All right. So so those are some new games that are going to be coming out later this year. Something else that should be coming out later this year that you won't have to pay for. This one out of Forbes. Yay, a new source. Resident Evil 2, 3, and 7 are going to be getting free upgrades from the PS4 and Xbox One versions of the games for PS5 and Xbox Series X. These upgrades are going to include ray tracing, higher frame rates, 3D audio. If we're talking the PlayStation side of the house with the DualSense, they'll be getting the haptic feedback and adaptive triggers. I like the sound of that. And yeah, so pretty much all the quality of life stuff that you might expect. I found it pretty interesting that they specifically picked on Resident Evil 2, 3, and 7. I mean, 7, pretty new. But 2 and 3, especially, they just did the remakes not that long ago. So it's kind of interesting that they're going ahead and they're doing these, new res things. You got any things, any thoughts on this one before we take our break, Mark?
No, not too big in the franchise, but 2 and 3 we're probably most familiar with. So if they revamp those, I might pick them back up, I guess you could say. But 7 is remind me, is that the newest one, or is that a couple
No, that's
ones ago?
Resident Evil 8. That's Village.
Okay,
7
yeah, so one
was
ago. Yeah,
7 was Biohazard. So that was the one
gotcha.
that came out 18 No, it couldn't have been that long ago. I'm gonna have to take a look. You can keep talking, and I'll find it here real quick.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's feeling like they're bringing the, I guess, old gen titles back to life with the new gen refreshes. Game wise, not consoles, Matt. Uh,
Yeah,
or
Matt, we can talk all the crap we want since he's not here tonight.
right.
Yeah, and
But
I
yeah,
stand
since
corrected. Resident Evil 7 was
so-
2017.
okay, yes, well, it's still
So
not too
still,
far ago.
six,
But
4 or
yeah,
5 years.
but
Yeah.
yeah. So now that I do have a Series X console, I can take advantage of these refreshes.
Yeah, and I guess I shouldn't talk too much crap because I actually have Resident Evil 7 through Matt. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. I might actually finally dip into that. Resident Evil, not usually my cup of tea, but we'll see. We'll see. I've been meaning to get into some horror stuff and checking it out. But we'll go ahead and we'll check out some more gaming news right after these messages.
Want to contribute to the show? Maybe you want to try your chances at a question being aired? Give us a call at 702-690-9292 and you might find yourself so lucky.
And we're back, gamers. So, we covered the news. We're done with the news. We're going to move that aside and we're going to move on to the new hotness. So, new hotness that came out, Jeff Grubb. We've talked about the gentleman here on the show before. If you're familiar, he is a journalist. He is with Giant Bomb, and he's on the inside of a lot of interesting stuff. He seems to know a lot of stuff that comes to fruition. So he's more or less respected in the journalistic industry as an insider. That being said, on his Grubstacks show, which unfortunately is paywalled, and while we're all about supporting other podcasts, we don't even get paid for our podcast right now. So maybe once we get a little bit of something for us, we can spread the wealth. But anyway,
Smash that donate button.
Smash that donate button. Perfect segue to say, ladies and gentlemen, smash that like button. Go ahead and subscribe. If you like the talk that you've been hearing here, you want to hear more of it, go ahead and let some brothers know. But anyways, the transcription of the important stuff from that Grub Snacks episode coming out of VGC, basically talking about some details surrounding the new PlayStation Project Spartacus. I keep saying Project Spartacus. I don't even know if they actually call it Project Spartacus. They definitely call it Spartacus. Whether or not they call it Project is a whole nother thing. Anyways, so the quote that we've got right here is, quote, right now they're called, sorry, I guess I should have set this up a little better. The new service is going to be at least 3 tiers. The 3 tiers are going to be different price points. In each price point tier, they're going to have different capabilities. So, quote, right now they're called Essential, Extra, and Premium, Grub claimed. The pricing, again, could be a placeholder, but the pricing is $10 a month for Essential, $13 a month for Extra, and $16 a month for Premium, end quote. So as we dig into it a little bit more, some of the different things that are offered, let's see. So for the Essential tier, so that's the bottom tier essentially, right? You're going to get the PS Plus monthly games. It includes cloud saves, monthly free games and discounts. You're also going to get, you're going to need PlayStation Plus in order to play these games online, which doesn't apply to free titles. So doesn't sound a whole lot different than the standard PS Plus right now. For the extra tier, you get a downloadable game catalog, which is supposed to consist of anything on PS Now that was downloadable. So realistically, that's just your PS4 titles. They didn't have any PS1 or PS2 games, the PS Classics or PS3 that were downloadable. And let's see, it's going to be a catalog, something 250 to 300 games, something like that. You don't get cloud streaming, which doesn't make sense because you have cloud streaming at the lower tier. Or excuse me, you got cloud saves at the lower tier. You won't get cloud streaming of the actual games. But you do get 300 games you can download. So again, it's talking about basically you get access to a catalog here. So again, if it's downloadable titles, it's probably just going to be your PS4. So you're essentially paying more money for a backlog of PS4 games. Then the premium, which again is going to be the $16 a month tier, you Jeff Grubb related it to like EA Play. You're going to get game trials, presumably specifically for the PS5, and all the stuff that we just mentioned. And that's really about it. They're adding game trials. So $10, $13, $16. Maybe some interesting stuff in here, maybe not. Mark, you got out of PlayStation for a little bit now. Is this something that's going to go ahead and potentially entice you? This Game Pass competitor, as PlayStation is kind of internally calling it, is this something that's going to bring you back into the fold and have you repping the blue, Team Blue?
Well, after that segment, like you sold me on it. It's a done deal. Like the enthusiasm really got it. So
Let's go. No, I mean let's just talk about it, man. Let's be
no,
frank
no.
about it, right?
I don't think they're coming at it the right way. You already have a PlayStation Plus account, and then you're asking people to choose a tier for what they want. Why can't they just have, like Xbox, one price for everything? You know, why not?
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be frank. This actually frustrated me when I saw this news because um, I was very fortunate. A lot of things boil down to time, right? I've been a PS Plus subscriber for many years now. Just like probably most thrifty gamers, I go ahead and I don't pay the full price for it. You manage to find a subscription code somewhere for a little bit cheaper, and I only got PS Now because I wanted to see how competitive that catalog was and that service was with Game Pass, which it has more titles. But again, here we go talking about classics being stream only versus the PS4 being downloadable, PS4 titles being downloadable, and two, I only got it because I caught it on a spring or summer sale where I paid something like $30 for a whole
Remember
year.
that? Yeah.
Yeah, so I like triple stacked that. So I have like 3 years worth of it. And I was like, hell, I can afford that for what would normally cost 1 year. I'm getting three out of it. Yeah, let me try it. Um, would I go ahead and taking these things in mind, would I go ahead and be down to paying $16 a month for trials? No, I don't think so. I've been listening to a couple other gaming podcasts because I try to be in touch with the industry, and a few people have brought up a very interesting point talking about we get to this slippery slope where we start paying money for trials or demos, right? These things that used to be free, pretty commonplace. Now, this idea of games cost more. We have subscription models. We talked on previous episode the fear of what microtransactions and DLC and whatnot, and maybe even NFTs are going to do in the future. And now we're going to go ahead and get charged more for game trials. Sorry, like I love PlayStation for their cinematics, for their big immersive experiences and everything. I'm not paying just me. I'm not paying that much for this different tiered service. I'll probably just stick with the PS Plus and take advantage of the discounts and buy the games as I come across them. But
Shots fired.
dude, I'm just being real. Like, let's just talk about it, right? Especially for better or worse, right? If they're internally calling this the Game Pass competitor, they're out to lunch. The execs are out to lunch because at least
Not even
in Game
close.
Pass, yeah, I mean, at least in Game Pass, like that is the one thing that I have said time and time again, and I think everybody has pretty much said, if you want to be competitive with Game Pass, you have to have the entire library be downloadable, right? We're not in a place where streaming everything is a truly viable option. And two, although this one is probably less likely for PlayStation to jump on board because they said their piece before about not sustainable, et cetera, is have your first party stuff on there. Maybe not day and date, right? They've done okay with like what I've seen at least. They've done okay with, hey, we're going to go ahead and I think the model that they have right now with PS Now is fine. They went ahead and they had Spider-Man come out on PS Now. I went ahead and tried it, and I was like, hot damn. And coincidentally, at the same time, the game was on sale for like $20. Snagged it. Hey, they went ahead, and I knew I was going to buy this anyways, but they had Last of Us 2. We talked about that previously, right? They had Last of Us 2 on the service around the holidays. Guess what? It was coincidentally also on sale. Bought it. I think that is working out very well for me by going ahead and scooping up their uh, first party title games by doing that. But it's also either coincidental or purposeful that the stuff is on sale. Where here they're talking about you're not even going to get a full game. You may get a trial, and then you're still going to pay an increased price, right? Because they're trying to sell all their first party stuff for $70 price point now. But you're also already paying, I mean, at least $3 more a month for a trial, bruh. Anyways, that's enough about me. I'm gonna toss it back to you one more time. Is there anything?
I was just to answer your question in short. No, I will not be migrating anytime soon.
He says that, folks. Don't worry. I'll get him to get a PS5.
What is the PlayStation Plus yearly these days? $60.
Yeah, 60.
Yeah, and then you're gonna add, $16 on top of that for maybe some games, more trials than games.
Well, no. So remember, this is essentially Spartacus. The rumor is maybe starting even as soon as next month in April that this thing's going to go live, and this is essentially going to replace PS Plus pretty much entirely. So I think that's the part that's also a little bit concerning. Is we're talking about PS Plus as it stands is $60 a year. So that's basically neck and neck with Xbox Live Gold, which there's been rumor around the interwebs forever about Xbox Live Gold going away. But now at what we're hearing here, bumping it up to $10 a month, right? Is that what we said? We said $10 a month for the essential, which is basically PS Plus. Well, that now brings you up to $120 a year for about the same thing that you're getting right now if you have PS Plus. I feel like either I'm missing something entirely or the entire industry is not talking about this in the right way.
I guess I must have misinterpreted this. I thought that you have to have the Plus to get the tier. Right?
Go a little more. I'm not sure I quite understood that.
So like you have to be a PlayStation Plus member, the yearly, and then you can get one of these tiers.
No, this is going to replace it entirely. The whole idea is they're basically taking PlayStation Now, which is its own entity, and PlayStation Plus, which is its own entity.
This is replacing Now.
Okay. This is replacing both. This is replacing both, right? So
I gotcha.
That's the other thing. Yeah, looking at the price points now, I feel like a lot of people aren't really paying attention to that. Like we're doubling the cost.
It's very confusing layout. To me.
Well, and the thing that speaks truth to it is I went ahead and I got an email from PlayStation. I want to say a month and a half or 2 months ago. I'm like way behind on personal emails, but I did specifically notice this email, and it was one of those where it said, "Hey, we're going to cancel this subscription, but we're going to go ahead. Don't worry, we'll renew you at this one." And I took a look at it, and I was like, "Wait a minute." I did not make any change in my subscription, but they're sending me an email and it's talking about your new auto renew price is going to be $10 a month, and I was like, I beg your pardon? What do you mean $10 a month? I'm not paying $10 a month to get the exact same thing that I'm getting right now. Like I feel like the industry is not really talking about this in the right way, and this may get a lot of backlash. I don't understand. Yeah. I mean, I could go on this for a hot minute, but I don't understand why people aren't going ahead and seeing the elephant in the room that, like, if this is meant to replace, you will not have the opportunity, at least as I understand it. And I reserve the right to be wrong here, but this is going to completely replace PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now. So you will have no choice in trying to resubscribe with PlayStation Plus for what was essentially $5 a month, right? It's only going to be a $10 a month service from now on. And again, they said, hey, if you check what we said about the essentials, you want to do online play, that's going to be behind a paywall, minus the free to play stuff. But if you want to play a Call of Duty or you want to play, I don't know, name X, Y, or Z game that has online compatibility, online play. If you want to go ahead and play that, that's still going to be behind that paywall, which is now being increased to double the price. So, as we're talking about, I'm getting even more frustrated with it. And me personally, I like PlayStation stuff for their first party stuff, but guess what? Their first party stuff, by and large, has not been multiplayer games, right? So they're almost 4 minutes to the point where I'm just going to keep buying them, but I'm just going to keep buying them literally for single player experiences, which, if I'm being frank, I think is what PlayStation is known for. But there's
That's
also, go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say that's kind of the only reason I had a PlayStation is their first party title. Like I had a couple multiplayers, but like I found myself playing more of the God of Wars, the Horizon Zero Dawn stuff. So like, and then my Xbox was my actual community for the multiplayer, but they haven't wheeled me in with the that stuff yet.
I'll tell you what, PlayStation, if you're listening, bring back Mag, and I'll go ahead and I'll pay for this. Mag was like one of the best multiplayer, in my opinion. Once again, reserve the right to be wrong. Mag was one of the best multiplayer games they had on PlayStation, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. It was well ahead of its time, and they let it go because there wasn't enough support. But I think just like so many games that lose recognition well ahead, it was ahead of its time. Anyways, we're going to take another quick break, and we will be back right after this.
Heard something you liked? Maybe you want to showcase a great gaming experience? Or perhaps you just want to share a laugh with the crew. Join the Discord by using the link in the show notes. We look forward to you being part of the community.
And we're back, gamers. So we pretty much wrapped up our talk about the news, including some very candid discussion about the rumored tiers and price points for PlayStation's Project Spartacus. Again, lots of rumor, but insider rumor there. And so now we're going to move on to, once again, release radar. So the stuff that we got coming up, we talked about some of the stuff previously. So some of the new hotness that you guys can expect to play that's going to be hitting your consoles and your PCs of choice over the next week. We got Gran Turismo 7 whoop, whoop, on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Triangle Strategy, where's Matt?
Matt.
Coming out as well today on March 4th on Nintendo Switch. RPG Time, The Legend of Right, is going to be coming out on Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, PC, iOS, and Android on the 9th. Ashwalker on Switch, March 10th. Aztec Forgotten Gods, PlayStation 5 and 4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, PC, and Switch on March 10th. Chocobo GP, in case you need to get some more of that racing fix in. That's coming out on Switch on March 10th. Submerged Hidden Depths is going to be on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series consoles, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC on March 10th. Workshop Simulator, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC on March 10th. Young Souls will be on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on March 10th. And last but not least, WWE 2K22 is going to be coming out on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series consoles, as well as Xbox One and PC on March 11th. All of this, and we forgot to mention, Mark, guess what next Thursday is going to be?
Where am I in the calendar? I don't even know what day it is.
Today,
what's next
Friday
Thursday?
the 4th.
I'm missing something.
We're adding 6 to the 4. It's March 10th. What's March 10th, Mark? You know this one.
I feel like I should know this. I was never good at Jeopardy.
It is Mario Day, ladies and gentlemen. March 10th is your day to go ahead and hop onto any online Nintendo Switch store or platform, and you will find most Nintendo first-party titles, specifically those including Mario, will have potentially a significant discount from what you normally see them priced at. So go ahead
all
and
about it.
mark your calendar. Seriously, and he's the
I mean,
Nintendo guy.
but like I had, just like last year, I have all the titles, so like it doesn't even pertain to me anymore.
When's Mario Rush come out?
Mario Soccer Rush?
No, what's the
Talking
golf?
about?
What's the golf one?
Oh, the golf one? That's been out.
Do you have
You're
that
talking
one
about
too?
the strike? Yeah, I have that. You're talking about
Okay.
the soccer game,
Never mind. I'm
Strikers.
sorry. He owns all of them. That's why he's
Yeah.
the Nintendo guy. Anyways, all right, cool. So that's all the games that you can expect coming out. With that, that wraps up all of our regular segments for the show. Mark, aka Mr. Snipe 90, Mr. Fiverr, $5 Halo coach. I'll coach you $5.
Yeah, if you're interested, email me.
Yeah. Hey, I tell you what, this is an open invitation. I need you guys to go ahead and get down in the comments section. Go ahead and tweet at us, do whatever. Mr. Mow Them Down, Matt, sincerely thinks he's got a career cut out for himself, going ahead and charging $5 to be a proofreader. So please go ahead and let him know that you'd like to employ his services or what you think about his business model. Anywho, speaking of some business, Mark, what kind of business you been into this past week? What you been playing? What you been doing? Where can the people find you? Let it roll, baby.
Yeah, but all seriousness, if anyone would like to reach out, I can get you at snipe90@live.com. Any of your gaming needs. Uh, but I did get the chance to get the old Elden Ring going. We talked about
What?
that last episode. I was kind of on the fence about it, but I went in and pulled the trigger a couple days ago. Not too far into it right now, but it is a gorgeous game. Um, it's very, very nice to look at. Like I just sit there and not do anything and just look at the screen, and it's awesome. I have died a handful of times, but that is, gonna happen. Yeah, maybe 4 or 5. But yeah, I'm get pretty decent at it, I should say. I wasn't, seasoned with the Dark Souls games in the past. It's actually my first one, surprisingly, that I've actually played. Well, I say it's Dark Souls, but you know what I mean. But other than that, I picked up the Hell Let Loose game, I think it was called. Tried to play that with Matt, failed. Connection issues, multiplayer issues, but I'll try and give that another shot. Maybe tonight or tomorrow. We'll see.
Okay. Yeah, I keep forgetting. Like every time we talk about, oh, got this game. Like I'm sitting there thinking to myself, well, hell, let loose. Didn't you get that for free? And then I remember, oh, guess
Nope.
what? That came out on PS Plus for free a couple months ago. Which is why I'll be all the more angry if PlayStation decides to double the price. Anyways, yours truly, known as Ice on all things gaming and social media. What I've been doing this past week, what I've been playing. What I've been doing is top secret. No, I'm just kidding. I've been working on a couple things project wise, both for the show and off the show. As far as what I've been playing, I did go ahead. I have not played it yet, but I did take the plunge. I was trying to talk myself out of it. I tried to ask my compatriots here on the G3 crew what their thoughts were. They left me hanging. No one answered. So I went ahead and did it anyways. I took the plunge, spent about $20, and I got Red Dead Redemption on PC on Epic Game Store when that was on sale. So I took a look. I was pretty impressed because I never knew how big that game was, and it was something like 170 or 180 hours for the completionist run. And so I said, you know what? I think that deal's worth $20. So went ahead and got that. Been playing some more. When I have been playing Spider-Man Remaster on PS5. I'm about done with that game. I'm getting real close to wrapping that one up. I'll eventually hop back into Horizon Forbidden West, and my fear is, Horizon Zero Dawn. And my fear is that once I finish that, I'm not really going to have a choice but to buy Horizon Forbidden West. I've also been playing a little Slay the Spire. So doing a couple
Echo,
runs on
echo,
it.
echo.
Echo. It's like we hear it every single show. It's an addictive game, bro. Anyways, what else?
I booted it up yesterday. I'm not gonna lie.
You felt the itch. Anywho, Yeah, I think that's about it. So, ladies and gentlemen, we already went ahead and talked about some of the great games that are going to be coming out this next week. There's even better stuff coming out for the rest of the year. So, go ahead, get those controllers up. Gamers unite! And we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show. And remember, gaming's greatest generation is the one you guys are a part of.
Thanks for listening to the Gaming's Greatest Generation podcast. We hope you enjoyed your time with us today. If you have any feedback for the show or would like to contribute ideas, feel free to call 702-690-9292 or email us at gamingsgreatestgeneration@gmail.com. You can also join the Discord community by following the link in the show notes. See you next time.